Hi there, welcome to I Won't Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Pisces energy. And we're going to get these cards out. We're going to shuffle this Intuit deck to see what it wants to add. At the end, we're going to ask for possible outcomes that people might not see coming, depending on if they harness a more high vibrational Pisces energy or a more shadowy Pisces energy. Everybody's got free will. Life's about learning lessons. Some people have learned some more lessons than some other people. Some people, their more worldly, shadowy energy is kind of in the driver's seat of their life. Can just be they have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. They're kind of immature. Other people could be lazy, prideful, egotistical, bossy, more materialistically driven. And other people have learned that love is the answer. And love is what makes it all worthwhile. Some people have grown and healed and matured themselves. Look at life from a higher perspective. But if you aren't, we all tap into Pisces energy about what we find emotionally fulfilling and our idea of the dream life. And we just need to see the truth about different people in our life. So listen to your intuition about where you might be in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people in your life, how they might harness their Pisces. Because if you're in high vibe and you have hope and faith and belief in yourself and in your dreams and motivated and inspired by love, we have to see the truth that not everybody, some people don't want to do love. You can get hurt doing love. So some people never want to do love. We have an Intuit card not showing itself, and it says, be willing to look in the proverbial mirror regularly and embrace the light and the dark. And there's some people who refuse to see the truth. You know, we have to see the truth about ourselves, where we need to grow and heal and mature, and we need to see the truth about the type of people we try to get in relationships with. But some people aren't ready to deal with the truth yet. Some people don't realize that you've done that work and you have been enlightened to the truth. The reason this came out is because of trauma. So let's go see what's going on in Pisces energy. We have the Clover card. Sagittarius energy. We're either Sagittarius and high vibes about higher learning and education and moving forward in your life, being inspired by love. But in shadowy energy, we still got some lessons to learn, and we could be kind of more immature than some other people. And some people just want to kind of indulge, and they make the free will choice to indulge themselves in their more immature nature. The reason this came out is because of the change in the main female. In our dualistic nature, emotionally, which is what the feminine figures can talk about, how we think and feel, some people, they have free will. Some people are going to move forward letting their more emotionally shadowy nature be in the driver's seat of their life. I'm driven by my ego, my fear, my insecurity, my lust, my greed, my lazy nature, self-indulgent nature. Other people have learned lessons in life, and they learned when they lived their life like that, things didn't work out the way they wanted. And they don't want to keep indulging their more shadowy nature. So they got in the driver's seat of their life, because the change card with the car there reminds me of the Chariot, which is Cancer energy, out of love for themselves. They decided to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. Other people think they're going to move forward victoriously and successfully, living more from their mind than their heart, making their life more about themselves. I won't get hurt by love. It'll be great. I'll just indulge myself in relationships, or maybe I'll make my life about ego and image, because the Chariot can be about look like you're moving forward victoriously. And emotionally, that's what some people are motivated and inspired by. So everybody's moving forward, going about life in the way that they think is best based on what drives and motivates them. Shadowy people sometimes try to get in relationships with loving people. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's got my shadowy traits and characteristics. I want to be in a relationship with someone who's hopeful and believing and loving, and for you to indulge me in my poor behavior. Some of them want to be in relationships with people who are driven and motivated by the same things they are. Just depends. High vibe people want to be in relationships with people who are emotionally balanced, motivated and inspired by love, who've learned lessons in life and are an emotionally mature, balanced, stable person. Then we have imprisonment and the death card. And the reason that came out is because of unlocking. High vibe people realized how when they indulge in their more immature, shadowy nature, it puts an end to like them moving forward in the things that they want to go pursue in life. If I keep giving in to my fear, my insecurity, my lust, my greed, I end up getting trapped in things because we're kind of going down the wrong path. I'm probably hanging out with other people who are driven and motivated by those same things. And we've all got lessons to learn. We've all been more immature. We can all have been more caught up in things of the world. And we got in some relationships where we did feel shadowy energy, represented by the devil at the big picture, is all those things that limit us, restrict us, confine us, imprison us. And we could have been motivated and inspired by love, but maybe there was something we hadn't learned yet. And some of that can be to listen to our more intuitive, creative, inspired nature, which I think was given to us as a gift to help navigate in this world. And when we don't listen to our intuition, and our intuition could tell us, if you move forward in this, I don't think this is going to work out the way you think. But, we've all been in our more ignoring our intuition, but I want that. I think it'll be great. I think I can make it work. We think we know best. Pride comes before the fall. And then we get ourselves in situations that we feel limited, restricted, imprisoned, that could be in the ending card, like the death card in tarot, is Scorpio energy, where, we got ourselves in relationships with people who aren't, they're kind of in non-life-giving energy. They're not very loving, maybe not inspired by love, but they could be charming. They could be attractive. We want to go be in a relationship with them. And we learned a lesson to listen to our intuition. Because when we take action, kind of planting bad seeds, we're probably going to get in a relationship with some other people who are in that energy, and it's not going to work out the way we want. It could be emotionally shallow, superficial, intimidating, controlling. And that's when we realize I need to, in my more immature nature, I can be a more codependent energy. I want these things in my life. And so I'm going to look outside myself for something to be the answer, instead of realizing I hold the key to what imprisons me. First, I need to be inspired to love myself and get in the driver's seat of my own life and choose in my free will to be in high vibe energy, to not be imprisoned by my shadow nature, not let my ego run my life, my fear, my insecurity, my codependent energy, my past pain and heartbreak. I am going to be inspired to wrap my brain around this game of life. I'm going to get in the driver's seat of my life, love myself, and I'm going to free myself from those things that stop me from moving forward in life the way I want. And if I've already gotten in relationships and friendships and workplaces with people who can act in these more shadowy ways of being, I need to figure out why I keep getting in those situations. What am I not seeing about myself? And is it because I could be a hopeful, believing person, and I always hope other people will change? Well, everybody has to make that free will choice for themselves, and we can be loving and encouraging to all sorts of people in our life, but do we get in relationships with people who are already imprisoned? And it's obvious they're kind of imprisoned by things that manipulate them. Lust, greed, pride, ego, defensiveness, immaturity. Well, are we going to see the truth of it? Oops. I see that you have some things that imprison you, or you're not very loving, or you're prideful or egotistical, or live more from your mind than your heart. I've already been in relationships with people who have some shadowy traits and characteristics. I've already realized if we're not on the same page, if I get in a more involved relationship with you, those things that manipulate you, I basically have to let them manipulate me, because you're not aligned with like hope and faith and belief and love, and you haven't freed yourself from those things that manipulate you. So eventually people wrap their brain around it, and they end up you know, we can know all sorts of people in the world. We can work with people. We can have people in our social group that we meet in the world, our family, and we can be a loving, encouraging person to people. But yeah, no, I'm not getting in there with you. You can be in a social acquaintance. We can all get along. You stay in the friend zone. So the Chariot then talks about having victory over your more, and the feminine figures again talk about how we think and feel. Again, we can love people, and the Chariot being Cancer energy, we can love people. And I'll offer you love and encouragement, but, you know, as long as you're still in that energy, I'm not going to climb in there with you. In the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, also about our deep emotional connections that we have with people, that I can love people and kind of keep my distance from them. So that is kind of like not emotionally investing more into them. I can be loving to all sorts of people. Scorpio energy is kind of that emotional water sign I feel that we tap into because it's fixed sign energy where that we get into when we're putting more work and effort, more involved work and effort into people that we get involved with. And some high vibe people are like, if I see some people that emotionally they're kind of stuck in something and a way of thinking or believing or living life that isn't aligned with my truth, I've learned that, and I'm going to wish them peace and love and joy, and I'm going to keep moving on. And then we have Lilith, which is Scorpio energy. You know, Scorpio energy emotionally is about understanding the mysteries of life, and we can have deep emotional connections with people. But in the anchor card of Capricorn, shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. I've already worked with people who are like that, and I know that if I get in relationships with other people that in high vibe Capricorn haven't put in the work and effort to free themselves from those things that emotionally manipulate them at a kind of a deep level, or they're emotionally more invested in living more from their mind than their heart. Their thoughts could imprison them, their fear could imprison them. Wanting shadowy Scorpio is where they like to keep their emotions more buried beneath the surface. So they keep their more emotionally intuitive, hopeful, believing, loving nature imprisoned. And they don't let that aspect of themselves, their more hopeful, believing, loving nature out to play in the world, or their more emotionally mature nature. They have these things that manipulate them, and other people have been there. Other people have been in relationships and had these life situations happen, but they were inspired to work through those things that manipulate them. And high vibe Capricorn is freeing yourself from things that manipulate you, freeing yourself from harnessing these energies in a more shadowy way, indulging your more immature nature and thinking everything will work out the way you want. Living more from your mind, letting all these things manipulate you. Other people have done this work to realize I can have love for people, and there can be things I can be tempted by. We all are tempted by things, right? Did this card kind of talk about that? Being willing to see how we're tempted and acknowledge we even have a shadow side. There's some people who try to create an illusion. Oh no, I don't even have a shadow side, and they don't even want to acknowledge they have a shadow side. And then they try to get other people kind of imprisoned in a relationship with them, and you stay in denial that I have a shadow nature too. Let's create this illusion of how wonderful our life is and how much we love each other and what a loving life we have. But that's not the truth of who they are. They're, again, superficial, shallow, egotistical, prideful, more materialistically motivated, live more from their mind than their heart, and all those things manipulate them. And other people have been in relationships with people like that, and though they had a deep emotional connection, they would have liked those relationships To move forward, eventually they had to communicate with those people. And this card is represented by Gemini, which is our dualistic nature of what our truth is, that I think you're being deceptive. A false person would be emotionally, we're wearing a mask, but we really operate from being motivated and inspired by something other than being inspired by an emotionally balanced, loving relationship. So shadowy people try to create the illusion, oh no, I'm an emotionally mature, happy, loving family person. You should get in a relationship with me. And then you get in a relationship and you realize they were wearing a false mask. They have these things buried beneath the surface, even their more emotionally loving nature, and they're never planning to let that aspect of themselves out to play in the world. So you're never going to be in a high vibe Scorpio relationship with people who are willing to explore, their own emotions, their own feelings, to unlock the mysteries of what drives and motivates them and free themselves from those things, and then be able to be in deep, meaningful relationships. And they hope to find people that they can imprison in a relationship that will keep moving forward with them in a relationship, with them operating from their defensive nature, their ego nature, their immature nature. And some other people have already been in those jobs, friendships, or relationships with those people, and those people moved on. I want to be, you can look at the marriage card as like a Two of Cups card. In my Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio nature, I have hope and faith and belief in love. And I want to move forward with other people who have hope and faith and belief in love. Not people who weren't telling me about all these things that manipulate them, that imprison them, that stop them from moving forward in that way. Because when we have these things that manipulate us within ourselves, we have to be willing to put in and have a desire to even work through those things, to explore the mystery of what these things are that manipulate me. Why do I let these things and other people in the world manipulate me? Why am I not more independent? Why have I not freed myself from these things that imprison me? Why do I let these other people in my life get me up in my head or up in my fear or intimidate me or control me? Why am I not living my more authentic life? Because high vibe energy is being independent, knowing how to give yourself love and compassion and forgiveness, appreciating have the right to live your own individual life. But we can have people in our life that want us to move forward with them not living our more authentic life or being more independent from them. So you could know some people that they have some emotional attachments to other people in their life that kind of manipulate and control them. And they're maybe not willing to communicate with those people. I think you kind of try to manipulate me or control me. I'm not your child. I'm my own individual. I have the free will to live my more authentic life. And, they have to work through those emotional, and kind of in Scorpio, it kind of talks about, these conflicting emotions we have for people. Some of the people we want to be in a relationship with have people in their life that they love, but some of those people don't want them to move forward and be more independent. Like, I want to control you, whether it's a friend or a family member. I don't want you to love and believe in yourself, because then it kind of makes me realize that I don't really go live my more authentic life. And I'm kind of living my life, and it might be more about ego and image or superficial and shallow. And if you go move forward with people who are loving and encouraging and supportive, then it's going to bother me. So how about we make you stop aligning with the loving, hopeful, believing people in your life? Let them go. Keep moving forward with me. Be anchored in with not aligning with your hopeful, believing nature and those people, and you move forward with me. And some people in our life It can be their own shadow. There's things in their own shadow nature that make them choose to align with certain people in their life. And it could just be, I am more immature, and so I choose to hang out with those people. I am more about ego and image, so I'm going to hang out with those people. I am more codependent. I don't like you being independent. Look, maybe there's someone new I could get in a relationship with that still has their kind of fears and insecurities about loving and believing in themselves, and I can get in a more codependent relationship with them. And maybe they won't ever work through their issues to free themselves. And then they'll move forward with me in a relationship, and we'll just be in a more codependent relationship, more immature relationship, more superficial, shallow relationship, operate from our ego. And other high vibe people don't want to be in a relationship and indulge people in their immature, defensive, egoic nature. And I am willing to do this work to free myself, because that's not how I want to live my life. And I've seen the truth. I can have love for people and choose not to pick up anchor from them, because I want to be in deep, meaningful, authentic relationships based on hope and faith and belief and love, and that are just and fair, and people acting with character and integrity, being more independent of things that manipulate them. And if that's not where they're at, I wish you peace, but I'm moving on. Sometimes some people take some immature action in a relationship. I do think you love me. I'm going to do some hurtful, unkind things to try to manipulate you. Get back in the cage. Do things the way I want. And it's really going to put you up in your head, because I'm doing these things in the death card that are unjust, unfair, unloving. And that's when high vibe people realize, I better really wrap my brain around this, because these people aren't being just and fair and loving. And I think they're trying to use the love that I have for them to manipulate me. And I don't think that's love. I think that's someone who had the free will choice to offer love and truth and be just and fair and work together with me cooperatively to work through issues so we could all move forward together. But they kind of gave in to their more ego nature, immature nature, manipulative nature. I don't think you'll love and believe in yourself to walk away from me, because I know you love me. And I know you want this friendship to work out or this relationship to work out. But high vibe people did that work. And it's like, that's not the kind of people. If that's how they, in their free will choice, choose to operate in a relationship, then we are on different pages. And I will work through the mental confusion of it and give myself the things that I wish other people would have given me, to pick up anchor in them and keep moving forward. And if they want to be in a relationship with me, then they're going to have to work through their issues and see the truth that they acted in unkind, unjust, unfair, bossy, controlling, intimidating, manipulating ways of being. And they're going to have to pick up anchor in that and communicate to me the truth of how they did get caught up in their pride or their ego or their fear or their insecurity or these issues that they struggle with. And maybe then we could move forward at some future point in time together as friends again. I'd have to decide, we can let people who some people, if they did really learn lessons, because we've all got these lessons to learn. And some of you might be moving forward now. And I think high vibe people, they're not in their ego anymore because they learned the lesson. I realized what was kind of manipulating me. And because I learned the lesson of it, I'm no longer in shame about the lesson I had to learn. And I'm willing to tell people the truth. I have freed myself from things that manipulated me and my own fears and insecurities. I got out of my ego to be willing to move forward in life. And as I'm moving forward in life, I'm willing to communicate my truth that I've learned with people. And I might go communicate with other people that maybe I got out of a friendship or a relationship with you, or I never pursued more of a friendship or relationship with you because I was at this stage of life. You could have been more emotionally mature or stable and grounded than me. Well, then some of those people could be, I'm glad you freed yourself, but I've moved on with other people, and, I'm kind of, and you can wish people peace, but, some people you can become friends with them, you can reconnect with friends, you can get back in relationships with people if people believe you're telling the truth. And just like anybody who communicates with you as you're moving forward, if someone were then to say, hey, I've learned these lessons too, and you've learned to listen to your intuition, not get so much up in your head about it. You offer love to stay emotionally balanced. The Sagittarius energy is about communicating with people your truth, how you're moving forward now. Some of the people you communicate with, they're like, oh shit. I would have wanted to be in a relationship with you before, be your friend, but that was back when you were kind of in this energy, and now you've told me that that's not the type of person you are anymore, and that you're moving forward more healed, more grown, more matured, look at life differently, believe in yourself, more balance within yourself. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, no. You can go. I'm still kind of maybe hiding that I'm still where we were back when I knew you 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And I'd kind of like to move forward with you and be in a relationship with you for my own reasons, but you've kind of already learned to listen to your intuition and love to guide you versus fear and insecurity. So I don't think I'll be able to manipulate you or control you in a relationship. You can go because you've already learned the lesson about people like me. And as you're moving forward, you're going to meet other people, and shadowy people are wondering, can I manipulate and control this person? I might want to be in a friendship or a romantic relationship with them, but I have ulterior reasons. It'd be good for my ego and image. It would look like I've moved on. It would look like maybe I'm victorious and successful in the world. But I only want to move forward with people I think I can manipulate or control. But you aren't someone I can manipulate and control. So, some of those people are going to go try to find someone else to manipulate and control. Some people right now are in mismatched relationships. One person's motivated and inspired by love. Someone else is kind of indulging themselves in a relationship. If the high vibe person wants to move forward in some type of more formal commitment, or we've been living our life at this certain phase, let's move forward. It's like, oh, that's kind of when the more person who's like, sorry, I was just kind of indulging. Yeah, I guess this is over, huh? Because I'm not willing to move forward in that way unless I think you'll keep willing to indulge me and not require me to heal or grow and mature myself. And then everybody's kind of got to decide this for themselves. High vibe people have freed themselves. They are not going to make decisions more out of fear, insecurity, pride, ego. They give themselves the things that they wish other people would have given them. Enjoy loving, supportive, encouraging people. But if there is not someone in their life that they should get in that more involved relationship, even though they could like to be in a more involved relationship, they're going to keep moving on. They're going to listen and keep offering love to their own fearful nature, because our fearful nature tries to stop us from moving forward. No, we might not get what we want. We should go back and do this, or go find people like this. That's us trying to control things instead of going with the flow. Offer love to your shadow nature, put it in the back seat, have your loving nature in the front seat. Offer your more immature shadowy nature, like your inner child nature, love and compassion and encouragement. Keep moving forward with me. We are going, if we want to accomplish our goals of being in emotionally supportive, loving relationships versus being in relationships with people who are in shadowy energy, we need to stay in high vibe energy. And we need to keep moving forward, working through the emotional confusion of it and these complex feelings that we have, to keep moving forward in an energy of love guiding the decisions we make, and investing our time and energy into the people who we think are, and show us that that's the energy that we're in, instead of investing our time, energy, and effort into people who already know aren't on that page. But other people, it ends up, they align with their more shadowy nature, and they kind of leave their more loving nature out in the cold or in the back seat. Nope, I think I know best. I'm in a mental prison. Something didn't work out the way I wanted. I have an idea. The answer to feeling better might be to go take action, to just go indulge in something to feel better, or go get in another relationship, or, in my ego, I think I know best. And then it doesn't work out the way they want either, but they keep not wanting to see the truth. I need to do this inner work within myself. If this keeps not working out the way I want, but some people haven't learned to love themselves. They don't know how to offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness to heal from those things. And even if they get in a loving, nurturing, supportive environment, they still don't do that inner work, and they have the free will not to do that inner work. I just don't want to look at it. I know, I have an idea. I'm going to operate from my more immature, egoic nature. I don't have to look at those things. I'm just going to put them in a box in the corner of my mind and ignore them. I can keep moving forward. But they don't realize how they deceive themselves, because if they haven't worked through those things to release them and have healed them, it affects how they act in a relationship. Their default isn't to be more just and fair and loving and hopeful and believing, because they still have those issues that manipulate them that they haven't dealt with. And instead, they take action more out of fear and insecurity, pride, ego, trying to control things, wanting to be indulged, trying to indulge other people to get them to do what they want. And it's love that is what makes things move forward. So, what's going on? What's going to be an outcome for some people who harness high vibe Pisces energy that they might not see coming? The Two of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Why? Because of the Queen of Wands. And I view the Queen of Wands as Leo energy, and high vibe Leo energy as being in the energy of life-giving energy. I could stay in a mental prison about things that ended, but I hold the key. It isn't other people loving me, validating my worth and value, being just and fair. I can give myself those things to love and believe in myself and know my worth and value. See the truth that some people, we weren't on the same page. We all have had people who want to be friends with us, want to be in more involved relationships with us, date us. And it's like, sorry, we're not on the same page. We all have had to deal with that. Some people could have a harder time dealing with that than other people. Other people are like, okay, well, we're not on the same page. There's other people that I will find that are more on the same page. And I'll keep moving forward. I'm not going to stay in taking it so personally. Do I believe they're a loving, just, fair person? Would I like to be in a relationship with them? Yeah, but if we're not on the same page, we're not on the same page. It has to be mutual. I deal with the truth of it. And if I've dealt with people who are bossy and controlling and manipulative, and I see them kind of being immature or whatever way they are in other relationships, it's like, peace be with you. I've already seen the truth of this person, and I'm going to work through the emotional confusion of it to see the truth of it, to emotionally detach from those people and pick up my anchor, and someone else can go through the same thing with them as I did, and hopefully they see the truth too and don't let somebody keep manipulating and controlling them. But to each their own. But I choose to be in life-giving energy. I choose to give myself the things, to keep loving myself, believing in myself, not be manipulated by my shadow nature or other unkind, unjust, unfair, unloving people. I'm going to keep moving forward in truth and love. And I think as you move forward in that energy, people see that that is the truth of who you are. And other people who have been with people that are more shadowy or manipulative in friendships, workplaces, and relationships, they see that you are who you say you are. And then they work through their own fears and insecurities of working through their emotional confusion, and maybe people in their life they need to distance themselves from in order to be in a friendship with you and get to know you better. You know? And the people who see the truth of who you are and work through their fears and insecurities will move forward with you. There could be other people who see the truth of who you are, but they're just not willing to pick up anchor from whatever kind of manipulates them to reveal the truth. Some people know you're a very loving person. Some people know they even purposely tried to intimidate and control you to get you to keep indulging them in a relationship, and you walked away. And they see that you see the truth of who they are. And now, they trapped themselves. I had the free will to be just and fair and loving, to work through my own shit, and I didn't. And now they're gone. So now they're either willing to free themselves and move on with their life, learning the lesson, getting in relationships with people they could get in a relationship with, being a more emotionally mature, stable, grounded person who learned lessons, or they might just decide, I'll still operate from the same foundation. I'll just go communicate with someone else and maybe not want to reveal the truth of why that relationship didn't work out and just go try to manipulate someone else. What's coming up for people that harness a more worldly, shadowy Pisces energy that they might not see coming up? And some people were in loving relationships with people, but it does require them to align with their more loving, hopeful, believing nature, and that puts them at risk of being hurt at a core, deep emotional level, and some people aren't willing to take that risk. I have fear. I'll let you go. I'll try to confuse people about the truth why the relationship didn't work out, but emotionally, I'm kind of more aligned with operating from my fear of love and like to be in relationships with people. Maybe I'll go try to find someone who's more on the same page as me, who I think will kind of make me more motivated and inspired by the world, or codependency, or fear, or ego, lust, greed, whatever, and I'll move forward with them. And maybe someone who doesn't know that I kind of operate more from my ego, and until they find out, I'll indulge in the relationship. If they ever do find out, well, then maybe that relationship will end too. What's coming up for them? The Five of Wands. Why? Because of the Six of Pentacles. These people have a lot of inner conflict about being more just and fair in the world. The Sixes can talk about being more balanced within themselves and being more just and fair and balanced with other people in relationships. Why? Because they got inner conflict in their Taurus energy. Taurus is about our philosophy of life, and it kind of dictates the decisions we make in our life. We have our dualistic nature that battles within itself, and our Taurus energy is like the Supreme Court of the land. After our shadow nature argued its point, we should do this, and our loving nature said, no, we should do this. We come to a conclusion, and that's our Taurus energy. This is what I have decided. And some people, they can want the best of both worlds. Well, I like being in a relationship with loving, nurturing people and more just and fair and balanced people who've worked through their issues to be a more loving person. But that's not who I am, and I don't want to put in that work and effort to become that type of person. I just want to move forward with them in a relationship. And I could try to create this illusion, maybe lie about create this illusion about why I didn't do things, blah, 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 or why things ended, or why I move forward with these people versus those people. But for people who've learned more life experience, they listen to their intuition. If their intuition tells them this person is not being truthful and honest, they are hiding a key element. A lot of the things they might say could be true, but they still operate from the same foundation, more emotionally invested in being about themselves, their ego, their image, money and materialism, defensiveness, immaturity, whatever. And I've learned to listen to my intuition, and I'm going to move away from people who are like that, whether they're new people I meet or old people who want to come back in my life. Because these people have inner conflict about walking the talk. They could like to view themselves as this emotionally balanced, creative, inspired, loving, pillar of society person, and they're kind of caught up in the illusion of who they are. They just don't think they really have to be more connected in. It's like they disregard their more emotionally intuitive, creative, inspired, loving nature and aligning with that. No, I think I can live more from my mind than my heart. I think I can keep that truth buried beneath the surface. I'm so smart. I can, use my emotions and my sexuality and my looks and my charm and my assets or my money to try to confuse people about the truth of who I am. But then they get in those relationships, and then people have a problem being in a relationship with them because they present themselves as being this high vibe person, and then they're not. And then it is this, Scorpio talks about that confusion we have with people. We love them. We want this to move forward in our Pisces energy, but this person seems to say one thing, do another thing, act one way, but I really don't think that's what drives and motivates them. And because they keep having this inner conflict within themselves, other people have inner conflict of staying in a relationship with them. And at any given time, people who kind of act in these kind of more shadowy or immature ways of being, there's always going to be some high vibe people in their life that have inner conflict about continuing to put work and effort into them in a workplace, a friendship, or a relationship. And eventually, the high vibe people do this work within themselves to work through the emotional confusion of it. They speak their truth in love. I am moving forward in this way. And these old ways of being or acting or whatever, I'm not indulging it anymore. Are you moving forward with me in this way or not? And that's when people really have that inner conflict. You mean I'd really have to walk the talk? Yes. But I have inner conflict about walking the talk. Then go enjoy your life. I'm leaving. We have to work through these issues. There comes with our free will. We're either building a foundation on truth and love, and we know that means that we temper our shadow nature, discipline it, and we act with character and integrity in relationships, or we don't want to do that. And then there's the people who don't want to pick a path. Well, other people are picking a path. Which path are you picking? And some people are like, well, I want both. And sometimes I want to be over here and sometimes I want to be over there. And sometimes I like to go back and forth. Some people like people fighting over them. That kind of is their ego boost. Oh, if I can, or I'm really Five of Wands and shadowy Leo energy. I haven't been illuminated to the truth yet. I'm still very competitive in the world. I have a lot of inner conflict I haven't dealt with. I treat my partners like the competition I have to defeat because that's what builds my ego. Look at all the inner conflict I cause them. I am so powerful. Really? High vibe people have realized that being truly strong is offering truth and love. Not trying to manipulate people, not trying to control people. I'm so smart. Look how much they love me and look at all the inner conflict I caused them. But some people are still in much more immature energy. And some people are very competitive in the world, and it's all about ego and image and money and materialism, or them being indulged in their poor behavior. And if other people see through the illusion and those people move on, shit, that affects how people view me, and it's not as good for my ego and my image. I need to go find someone else to manipulate. The most important thing is my ego and my image, or my status, or having money or something, And I gotta go find. And some people left a loving relationship because they didn't know it could have been loving, but it's like, yeah, but I don't have what other people have, and I don't know if we're gonna have that, and I don't know if people view me, and I want these people to view me, and these people are more important to me than the loving people in the world. I'm still trying to get people who are, I don't know, snooty people to include me in their club. It's like, well, go enjoy it. And then some of those people went and took action to go pursue what they wanted to pursue, and then didn't want to stay in it. Well, I thought for sure that would make me happy. Well, yeah, we've all went and indulged in things that we thought would make us happy, and we realized it didn't. Are we willing to get out of our ego and admit that we have lessons to learn and detach from those ways of being and speak the truth and be authentic and be loving? Grow up ourselves or not. And some people still do not, because they have a lot of inner conflict. Some of them are full of themselves. How dare you think that I have growing or healing or maturing to do? I could look victorious and successful in the world. I can go find other people who have inner conflict to get in a relationship with me and don't know the truth about me. And I'll go manipulate them. I don't have to grow and heal and mature myself. And if they ever see the truth, then I'll get out of a relationship with them too, and I'll go find someone else to indulge me in my ego. If some people took some immature action, and they are kind of quite prideful and egotistical, they weren't seeing the truth. And if some of those people try to be hurtful and unkind, some people can do that. Like, I don't want to move forward the way you want. I think you are a loving person, and you want me to be a more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving person. And it kind of illuminates that I'm not. I don't like that. That gets me in my ego, because I do like to view myself as being that type of person. But I don't want to do life the way you want me to do it. I don't want to detach from these ways of being. I have an idea. I'm going to do these hurtful and unkind things, and hopefully I can make you drive your life off into the ditch, and by default, I will look like I was the more emotionally stable, grounded, loving person, and I'll just go get in a relationship with someone else and try to deceive people about the truth. That's shadowy, Scorpio. I'm going to go scorched earth on you. I have another tarot channel called Tarot Land Soap Opera. And I think with the Pisces reading that I just did, that, or it was Capricorn, sometimes people go scorch earth on you. How dare you think that I should have to deal with these things that manipulate me? I'll show you. I'm the boss. I write the story of your life. I'm going to do these hurtful and unkind things. I am not going to communicate the truth. I am going to be deceptive and manipulative. I am going to go align with these other people or get in a different relationship. And I think you'll be imprisoned, and hopefully it'll cause you a lot of inner conflict, that you'll take action more out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego and competitive energy and pain and heartbreak. And then I can look like I'm the more stable, grounded, loving person. That was never you. And when you keep moving forward, not letting unkind, unjust, unfair, shadowy people have that kind of power in your life, you hold the key, not them. And you're inspired to wrap your brain around it, to deal with the truth of it, that some people who you thought were more just and fair and loving are not. You revealed some of the mysteries that are hidden in the world about people who like to keep the truth of who they are hidden, and that everybody isn't who they present themselves as, and that we need to listen to our intuition, and you keep moving forward in a high vibe energy, then they kind of know they can't compete with you because they know you operate being authentic and truthful and loving and treating people, you are who you say you are. They just create an illusion of who they are. And theirs starts to look more like a facade and an illusion. Fake, superficial, not truthful, not loving. And then it really causes them a lot of inner conflict. It's kind of like the devil trying to defeat God. Not like they're the devil and not like you're God. But you took action in truth and love, and they tried to manipulate the system, to cheat the system, to look like they were a more emotionally mature, stable, grounded person without really doing the work within themselves, just by throwing someone else under the bus or kicking to them to the curb or slandering them or whatever, hoping it would hurt you enough that it would put you in your shadow nature and you'd stay there and you wouldn't free yourself and you'd let an unkind, unloving person keep you in shadowy energy. It's like, no, I'm not going to let people who are like that run my life. I'm going to take the lesson I've learned, detach from these people, pick up anchor in them. They can go repeat this pattern with someone else. I've been illuminated to the truth, and I'm going to move on. Listen, take the lessons I've learned from this life experience with the people I meet going forward, and go find the people in the world who aren't like that, because not everybody's like that. I'm going to go find the other people who probably dealt with people like this that want to be in a more authentic and loving and warm relationship. And the shadowy people, they know the truth, and they're going to see you move forward in relationships and friendships and workplaces and marriages. And they know they're just doing another round of what they do in another workplace, another friendship, another relationship, another marriage. And they know you are the real deal. And they know that's not their truth. And they're in their ego about it. They could be that type of person if they wanted, but they have inner conflict about that. Because they'd have to let out their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And some of them are not willing to do that. And then they could have all these things and all these people in their life and the world at large that manipulates them to keep operating from their ego and keep these things hidden in the dark. Do not be truthful and authentic and admit you are a fallible human being who had lessons to learn. I couldn't possibly do that. I have a certain status and image to maintain. Okay. Other people admit they had lessons to learn. They communicate that with people. And people are willing to get in relationships with them, be in relationships with them, because they're people who are willing to get out of their ego and work through issues with people when there's conflict. And they choose love instead of something else. So there you go, Pisces energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.